Great. I'll just say that I've been corresponding with Ronaldo Dennis and Terrence Andrus since about 2018, and I was introduced to Terrence through Walter and Gretchen Sween. Gretchen is Terrence's attorney. Ronaldo is a close friend of Terrence's, and Terrence encouraged me to correspond with him, and that led to me being put on Ronaldo's visitation list as well. I began visiting a little bit after I started corresponding. One of the things which I try and do in my correspondence is include a poem, along with a little bit about why I like that poem and what it means to me, and sometimes that leads to a conversation or a topic that we can discuss when we do meet. I also send a lot of books to these folks.
Jim, if you could slow down your speaking just a little bit.
Okay, thank you. So some of the books I send are novels. I also send graphic novels, sometimes nonfiction and philosophy. And my expectation is that not everything that I send is necessarily going to be read, but many of these things get passed along and end up in the library, so that they're available for others. I also take requests, so that if someone wants a specific book, I'm happy to mail it. That also provides a great topic of conversation on our visits. We talk a lot about what we've been reading, and we also talk about artwork, because both of these residents of death row are very, very creative artists, mostly painting, and I've been mailed cards and paintings that are really impressive works of art. I take photographs of these works of art and mail back 10 photos. You can include in your correspondence up to 10 photographs. And so I just take a photo, print it out on my home printer, and then enclose 10 identical photographs. That way, the folks that I'm visiting and corresponding with can share the beautiful artwork that they've shared with me with more of their own pen pals. Artwork coming out of death row is remarkable. I think of it as just a beautiful expression of creativity and hope. I also think it's an expression of perseverance and real dedication, because they're not provided with art supplies. And so it takes some creative energy and also some communication among inmates to better understand how to create artwork under such circumstances. Brushes made out of human hair, food turned into pigments, and it's just remarkable. And the security apparatus of the place is overbearing and dehumanizing. But once you get past it and you're sitting face to face, there's grass, you have to use a phone, but that drops away, and you've got this connection, this one-to-one human connection with someone, and everything else it just drops away. And I have to say, I have learned an awful lot from my correspondence and from my visits, and a lot of it is difficult to put into words, but it really is about a human connection that feels rare and incredibly valuable in such a bleak setting. Thanks, Jen, for going through his life. Any other stories?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. You two, and then I'm going to ask if people have questions.
I have questions.
Okay.
And I have a woman I speak. if you want. Go ahead.
I have been visiting and corresponding with Walter Sorto since 2006, 7, I forget. There was a space there where we weren't in contact, and now we're back in contact again. I visited him last week. Just to add on to that humanizing face-to-face observation Tim made. For instance, if you just see photos of him, he has these scary tattoos all over his arms, that are visible. And when you get to see him, they're the names of his children. So it really does kind of change, your view on someone. The other thing that this may not occur to people sometimes, he's pretty far along in the appeals process and may actually get off of death row and go to general population in a year or two. And that sounds great, which it is. He's very happy not to be under that threat. However, the other concern is that as a death row inmate, you get all kinds of international attention and people interested in your case, and you get these high-quality appeal lawyers. He still handles appealing not just his sentence, but his conviction. And when he goes to general population, all that support will go away. And so he's of two minds about it. Also, just to let you know, he's been on death row long enough that his oldest daughter was probably 8 or 9 when he went in. Is now she joined the military so she can complete her training to be an MD. So she's that's where time goes. He's anxious to at least have some contact. So that's what I can say.
I know there's several people.
I'll try to be brief. I've been visiting John Rubio since about 2015, I guess. He likes to read a lot. He collects a lot of books. And often, over the years, he has given me 2 huge bags full of books to take to Inside Books. So I've developed a big relationship with Inside Books, who also feel very close to John, because he is so generous in making sure that they get these books. Many of them are graphic novels, which are very popular with the prisoners. And so that's been a nice kind of, and Inside Books, in case you don't know about it, is a great source for books, and you can go there and send them to your friends.
Could you tell people where it is?
It's on 12th Street, just on the other side of it. No, it's on 14.5 Street. They've moved just on the other side of it. Yeah, that's right.
First. I want to tell a sort of funny story. There is a guard named Miss Challenger. That really is her name. And one day I discovered a few coins in my pocket after I had gotten in line to go in to get checked out to go visit. It was cold out. She'd already sent me back to the car to get rid of my scarf. So when I discovered these coins, it was about 12 cents, I just tossed them out the door. And she jumped all over me. You can't do that. You can't do that. I said, why not? It's my money. She was adamant, you can't do that. And her tone of voice was such that I was convinced that I had better pick them up. So begrudgingly, I picked them up and took them back to the car. Whatever I did with them, I don't really remember. But I didn't like being talked to like that. I did not like being talked to like that. I'm not used to being talked to like that. So by the time I got into visit, I was in a really bad mood. But it was so educational because they're talked to all the time like that. They're always talked to like that. So then I decided I would take on the challenge of making friends with this challenger, which I have done. And we're always very glad to see each other. And similarly, there is a kind of very D-O-U-R, how do you pronounce it? Never smiling secretary in the warden's office. And I decided I would take another time to get him to smile. So anyway, those are the cute, funny ones. On September 24th of this year, from 5 to 10 p.m., not far from here at 2200 Tillery, which is the Austin School of Film, there's going to be a 5-hour film screening of 3 films. One is Death Row Angels, one is The Road to Livingston, and one is The Penalty. And we are invited. Anybody who has artwork or relevant materials available from death row inmates is invited to bring artwork to display, and you can ask me more about that. And then
I see Kimberly Cargill, who lives in Gatesville, and she was friends with Kathy Henderson. And so I got to know her through that connection. And Kathy was saying that she needed a friend and things like that. So that's how I got started. So I've been corresponding and visiting her for the past 10 years. And it's interesting that there's things that remain important when you go behind bars and things like that. And not everything falls away. So things of vanity and things like that. So if I show up, like last time I showed up, she didn't know I was going to be there that day. And she only had about 10 minutes to make herself, So she has a way to do makeup and things like that. So those are types of things that are important. She presents herself well. She always has her pressed clothes. She has a way of doing that, She folds her clothes and puts it under the mattress. So it folds it when it's damp until it dries. And so she always does things. She was apologetic that she didn't have creases in her sleeve and her pants and things like that. But I really enjoyed her. I also became friends with a person that's in general population. So I see both of them on the same day. So I go to one, and I only get to see both of them on Saturday. So I see one, and then I see the other one. And both of them from Kathy, Kathy lives on, and these 2 people. And so it's been a really a lot of heartfelt stories. She wants to know what's happening. She wants to know what the garden is doing. She wants to know about Kimberly. She wants to be in touch with just everyday, mundane. Did you eat a peanut butter sandwich? Or what? Those are important things. Those mundane little things. Or how do you make? So we do recipes, and we talk about how that you can make it there. Whatever. It's been a really touching experience talking to her each once a month. And I go see these ladies, and I like to share her image by them. I have one of those.
The microphone's up there.
Okay. I'm Dana, and I've been visiting I visit 2 prisoners. I've been visiting with Charles for 22 years. We grieved when we first went to the first meeting. He said, that went well, when can you come back? And then I realized that I was being evaluated when I was evaluating him. We agreed September 11th to attack on the Twin Towers together. And just, I've been with him with the death of his father. He couldn't attend the funerals of his family. With the death of his father and the death of his mother. So
we've been together a lot, and we share a lot of the same books and interests, including John. Thank you.
Unless there's an urgent story, I want to give people a chance to ask us any questions they might have. You can either ask in general, or you can ask what is the person who's spoken.
Yeah, I'm curious what has been the most challenging or difficult in for in this process of building friendships over time.
I'll just be real brief. Setting boundaries.
That would have been my answer also.
Yeah, just
Learning more than I wanted to about the crimes that a couple of my now deceased pen pal friends committed.
The fear of execution. We've had a couple of scare withdrawals. Although he's in pretty good shape now. Thanks.
I would echo what Joanne said, that's learning about what he did and how to cope with that myself emotionally. Not need to interact with him, honestly.
Other questions? Oh, sorry. Go for it.
I'll just add also that this is a wonderful day, and the trip back are great opportunities to commune with folks. But the day after can be exhausting, and so it takes a lot out of you. And so self-care is important.
One of the other aspects of getting involved with this is standing in front of the Capitol building one day when there is an execution. I've done that a couple of times, and after a recent one, I'll share what came through to me. It's a poem. I did not die today. I did not die today. That thought came to me as I stood at an intersection in front of the Capitol building in downtown Austin. The sky was clear, the wind cool, the traffic flowing easily by. Few fellow citizens glancing my way as I held the sign. I was not alone in my vigil there. Others were standing quietly by with signs of their own. It was peaceful where I was, the Capitol grounds green and inviting behind me as I had that thought, holding that sign that said, "No more executions." At 6:40 p.m. today, I did not die, but Quentin Jones did, strapped to a gurney in a room filled with bright light, full of darkness. One more of many, 571, too many, and counting.
We have just over 5 minutes left. The question I would ask is, what should we do differently, or how we need support in the meeting, or how does the meeting support these segments, not necessarily us?
I'm going to say the most silly and trivial thing, but I guess I'm saying it so it's recorded and it's, you know what? I would like, you can turn in your receipts for gas, you know, and get reimbursed. I mean, you don't have to get reimbursed on a mileage basis. On mileage basis. That shows my mind is a very trivial.
So I would like to say thank you to everybody who's ever sent a postcard or a card, a holiday card, from the meeting to a person that you don't even know on death row with some encouraging words. It really makes a difference. And as I mentioned earlier, before the recording was on, there are still some unmatched letters with requests for pen pals. I'm just going towards the social hall where they're laid out on a table and will remain so until we have some other reason to use that table for something else. So I would truly appreciate it if, you know, people would take care of those and start responding. You can use a meeting address. You don't have to reveal your own personal address. Some people have their letters sent to the meeting, and then they get sent on to those people. So you don't have to be afraid that somebody's going to find out where you live and tell their friends and relatives where you live. I guess also for execution vigils, it'd be nice if more people showed up.
Joanna, to follow that, I remember when the list of Christmas cards was over 500. And now there are currently 195 people on death row. When I looked at a newsletter from 2005, when we had our example commutation letter or request for pardon letter, there were like 9 scheduled executions over the space of 6 weeks. That has dramatically changed. And I think part of it has to be the people who are standing up against the death penalty.
Thank you.
Just a quick comment and a suggestion. I don't believe we have this microphone. I think we're using the overhead microphones, not the mic. So when people rise to speak, I notice you tend to be close to that microphone that's not working and facing the television set, and as a result, nobody in Zoom land can see you. So if you stand sort of where Melissa is, you can both see the people on the monitor, and you'll be facing the camera so that the Zoom land folks can see you.
Any last words?
With Melissa Rubio, who recently received a stay of execution, there were several prominent members of the Texas legislature, and they were Republicans that stood up and made that happen. I want us to start thinking of people as people and not as Democrats or Republicans, or I don't get along with, I do get along with, and that type of thing, because there's some very strong advocates for abolition, and it's growing among the very conservative people, and God bless them, you know. So Yeah, let's put people into tax, you know, because there's a lot of support out there. So, so it might be really worthwhile. I need to get their names again, but if anyone wants to know, I'll find out probably in a couple of weeks their names again. And it'd be just great to go and pat them on the back and meet them and thank them because they what we do now. You know.
Great.
Yeah, what's next step, you know, so that's something we might be able to do. It's, you know, it's a kind gesture, and it's out of the way of letting them know who we are, too. We have their back. Yeah, we have their back, yeah. Yeah, please let them hear it. Right. Thank you. Let us prepare to move into worship.
Thank you, Mary.
And you can turn the recording off.
Does somebody know how to turn the recording off?